Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our RAM chat this evening. My name is Lizzie Zentner, and I'm an admissions counselor here at Colorado State. I will be fielding questions from all of you, the viewers who are watching, to our admissions ambassadors who are going to be helping answer questions with me tonight. If you do have any random admissions-related questions, I can answer those for you. Otherwise, this is going to be completely our students. So the first thing I want to do is actually go screen by screen and introduce our panel here tonight of all of our admissions ambassadors who are helping. So if we can start with Joe down on the left and just move our way over, major interest, what you love about CSU, maybe something you do on campus. And your name, that'd be important too.
Awesome, thanks Lizzie. Hey everyone, my name is Joe Sternett. I am a senior this year studying mechanical engineering, and I'm originally from Kansas City, so I'm an out-of-state student. One of my absolute favorite things about CSU, there's so many of them, but one of my favorite things is all the different people here on campus. We have people from all over the country, all over the world, all different walks of life, studying all different things with all different interests. And that's honestly one of my biggest things I love about CSU. One thing I like to say is you can always make the big universities seem small, and I've found that community in a lot of different ways, whether it be riding my bike with friends, joining the outdoors club. I was on the climbing team for a little bit. I played guitar in the jazz programs for a couple of years. So I've done a number of different things here at CSU, and it's kind of scary to think that this is actually my last year. So it's a little bit about myself.
Awesome. Hey everyone, my name is Sebastian. I'm a junior double major in political science and international studies. I'm originally, I don't know where. I'm actually half Argentine, half American. I've lived actually in both countries for a total of 10 years, separated by 5 years. So yeah, pretty travel myself. But other than that, like Joe said, one of my favorite things about CSU is the sense of community that we can build here, and so quickly. Coming from Argentina, I literally came by myself, didn't know anyone. There was no chance I knew anyone. So I really got a sense of community really quickly, with just the people around me. But yeah.
Okay, Megan and Cody, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Cody, and I'm a senior from Colorado Springs, Colorado. My major is business marketing. I chose CSU because of the feeling I got when I came on my campus tour. It really connected with me. I love the open green spaces on campus. Some of my favorite things at CSU are the homecoming week. It's just a lot of fun to see all the Ram Pride just all on one weekend where we have a homecoming parade and bonfire, and it's a really neat community that we have here, and that's probably one of my favorite pieces.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan, and I'm also a business marketing major, and I also have a minor in math. I'm a third-year student here at CSU, and I'm originally from Windsor, Colorado. One of my favorite things about CSU is just the community here on and off campus. I love that we're in the heart of Fort Collins, and it's a quick walk to Old Town. There's so many fun things to do around CSU's campus, and there's also many things to do on CSU's campus. You can easily get involved and meet new people every day, and I love that.
All right, we'll go ahead with our last little bubble of people, and then we'll go ahead and move into questions.
Hey everyone, my name is Corey. I'm a senior this year, majoring in environmental health, and I'm originally from Pueblo, Colorado. And coming to CSU, I actually never really considered it as an option. I had my heart set on this small liberal arts university in Missouri, and after I toured there and I just knew it wasn't the fit for me, I came here reluctantly, but I absolutely fell in love with the campus, and I've just been able to do so many incredible things here that I've never thought possible. This past summer I was an orientation leader. I've also been to Kenya, Africa. I'm headed to Nicaragua through a program here we have called Alternative Breaks. So just being here, being part of this community, I've really been able to do a lot of things that I never thought I could have the opportunity to do, and that makes me so stoked and proud to be a CSU Ram.
Hello everyone, my name is Elon Stribling. I'm from Denver, Colorado, and my major is wildlife biology and conservation. The reason I chose CSU is because the campus and the PreVet program. The campus is just far enough away from home, but still close enough if I need to get home and get some home-cooked food. And one of the things I love about CSU is the rec. The rec is where I spend, if I'm not in class or at home sleep, the rec is where I'm at, hanging out with my friends and playing some basketball. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with your questions. If you're just tuning in to watch, that's awesome. We have a couple different ways that you can submit questions to us. Our most popular option, you can send them via email, you can Facebook them, you can tweet them, you can do anything along those lines that you want. Additionally, you can also ask them directly via Google Hangout. I have a little tab on here that I can read them off of if you want to do that. So our first question is from Chris, and Chris would like to know, how does it feel to be at a school of 27,000 people? Any of you can go ahead and take this one.
So I kind of mentioned that just briefly when I was talking earlier, how you can always make a big campus seem small. So at first, it might have been a little intimidating to myself, especially on that first day when I'm trying to find like room 204 and there's another 400 people trying to find where they're going to. But I really have quite enjoyed it. It's fun to get to see different people every day, to get to walk through different parts of campus and see all kinds of different things going on. I mean, I saw a band playing today outside of one of my buildings I had class in, and that probably wouldn't happen at a much smaller school. So it's really neat to have that opportunity, and it also means, like I said, you have the chance to get involved in so many different things. We have over 500 different clubs and organizations here on campus, ranging from everything from League of Legends Club to the Quidditch team that Lizzie would probably even like to play on if she was still a student. I'm in the Outdoors Club. There's clubs that go skiing and snowboarding every weekend. So the big campus is actually something I've really, really, really enjoyed. So that's my piece.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Okay, so the second question is, how welcoming are current students? I'm an international student moving to the U.S., and this is from Mona.
I'll take that one since I'm the only one that came from another country. I came from Argentina, did high school over there, and so I kind of had the same feeling. I was kind of worried, would I fit in, would I not, how many people I'm going to meet, stuff like that. And honestly, since day one, I decided to get involved. That was the best thing I could have done, and I met so many great people. Every single day I've met new people that I still see walking around campus, and I still say hi. Like Joe said, it made that community feel way smaller than what it is. So definitely I would say get involved, and really it's just finding your place, whatever that means. So in my case, it's working with the admissions office, working with El Centro, a student organization that we have here, just really get to know other people, and intramural sports. That's really my favorite thing. I will try to play any sports I can, so I'll meet a lot of new people from those sports itself, which then I'll hang out with them. So a lot of different ways to get around it. So again, just find your place or your state, wherever that is. So I know Elin, for example, was the rec center. So again, definitely that's my opinion, I guess, on that.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sebastian. We're moving on to a little bit of a food-centric question. So hopefully one of you all will know the answer to this. Are there vegetarian options in the cafeteria? Callie would like to know that. I'll go ahead and take this one. I actually think that there are definitely options for people with different types of dietary restrictions, whatever those may be. We've become, I'm sure that you all are aware, over the past couple of years, people have become a lot more aware of people who have gluten sensitivities or choose to be vegan or any different number of things. And CSU is extremely aware of that and wants to make the experience, regardless of what you have to eat, pleasant when you come here. So a lot of places will list when you go up to do the little, when you go up to get your food, the nice thing about getting up there is they actually have like a little menu up there that you can kind of check and see what's in there and make sure that it's something that you can eat and something that you can enjoy, which is good. So the next question that we're going to move to is, what is Greek life like at CSU?
I can take a little bit of that one since I was also part of a Greek life for 1 year. So again, I came from a country where Greek life does not exist. So I wanted to try it out, see what that was about. I found out that it was very different from what we see in movies and anything else or from friends. It was actually a really great place to kind of meet people, kind of have that sense of community as well. So that was a great place for me to start. I started my my second semester of my freshman year. And I did that for a year just because I realized that they were great guys. I still hang out with them, but it was just not really my thing. But again, like I said, I still hang out with them. But I have a lot of friends that are still in it. They've been there since their first semester of freshman year, all the way throughout their college careers, and they love it every day. They do a lot of different events, activities, and the really cool thing that I think about the Greek life at CSU is the fact that they actually do a lot of involvement and community service. They're huge in it. CSU really pushes that to students to do that because they want to. So I feel like that's a really great experience that I had to see what they do outside of just within their own groups. So how they help out the community, I guess.
Awesome. Thanks, Sebastian. This next question is from Susanna. I hope I said that correctly. And Susanna would like to know, how culturally diverse is CSU? What sort of resources do you provide for culturally diverse students?
CSU is diverse in many different ways, not only by ethnicity and race, but it's also diverse in gender, sexuality, sexual orientation, where you're from, religion. So it's not only racially, it's not only racially diverse, but it's diverse in a lot of other areas. A lot of kids who come from the South and they come to CSU and they're like, well, I really want to study medicine or whatever, and they can find other people who don't look like them or don't sound like them and get the same experience and really form bonds. So it's not only it's many different types of diversity that we have here at CSU.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This next question, I'm sure all of you will want to jump on. So I will let two people answer this instead of just one. The question is, what is Fort Collins like, and do you like it? Rebecca would like to know.
So I mentioned this a little bit in talking about why I chose CSU in general, but I love Fort Collins. I am from Windsor, which is about 20 minutes from Fort Collins, and I just wanted to be even closer. There's Old Town Fort Collins. You can walk downtown from campus, and there's restaurants. There's so many things to do in Fort Collins. I think that in general, it's a very, it's just a community. Everyone from Fort Collins is proud to be from Fort Collins, and I love it so much. I just want to live here my whole life. I think it's a great community. It's a great place to do fun things. There's Horsetooth Rock. You can hike up there. There's a drive-in theater. There's plenty of theaters around Fort Collins. So much good food, and I just really love that part about CSU.
Does anybody else want to take this too? Why they like Fort Collins?
I can speak a little bit more. I think one of my favorite things about Fort Collins is walking around in Old Town, which is kind of our downtown area. You see everyone from the 2-year-old kid who's running through the fountain to people that are same age as my grandparents sitting down and eating, which is awesome because our community, even off campus, is kind of diverse. And my other favorite thing about Fort Collins is I absolutely love riding bikes, and I ride my bike everywhere. In fact, I couldn't even tell you where my car is parked right now because I use it so little. So that's another big piece of Fort Collins for me, is the fact that I can get around that way, which is so much fun. So that's my answer.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. This next question is from Chris. I think another one from Chris. What's the best advice you would give to an incoming freshman at CSU?
I can take this one. So coming in, I'm a first-generation student, so I had absolutely no idea what to expect coming into school or what to do. And so the biggest thing that I would say is get involved, meet people, because this place is so amazing. Like Elin talked earlier about diversity, you just learn so much, and people have so many different perspectives. And you're like, wow, I've never thought of it that way. And you're just able to have so many incredible experiences. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, through different things that I've learned about at CSU, and it just makes you feel so much, I guess, exhibit so much more pride for the school you're attending to, and really learning about what CSU is and what the institution is all about. So that's what I would say, is definitely get involved.
Thanks, Corey. This next question is from Ashley, and she asks, are there opportunities to visit campus this fall? And I'll take this because we have a very large event coming up on October 10th. It's called Explore CSU. If you're a prospective student and you're interested in coming and checking out campus, learning more about your major, you get to eat on campus that afternoon, definitely think about attending Explore CSU. If you can't attend on October 10th, we have visit programs that we do that we just call daily information sessions that we have Monday through Friday. We have them at 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. and we also do select Saturdays as well. If you want to sign up for any of these, check out our website. We just revamped the whole thing to make it a little easier for you all to find this information. So definitely check out that thing online and make sure that you can register if you'd like to. So Explore CSU, October 10th. Come hang out with us. It'll be fun. This question is directed to Joe. So Joe, you've got a question here. Katie would like to know, what is the outdoor program like?
So the outdoor club that I've been involved in is completely student run. So there's actually, it's funny, when you form a club you have to have a faculty member sign on, but ours just said take it and do it with it what you will. So They meet once a week on Wednesday nights, so actually tonight. And basically it's just students getting together saying, hey, what would you like to do this weekend? Whether it be going and biking, hiking a 14er, ice climbing even in the winter, skiing, snowboarding, pretty much anything outside, you name it, and they'll do it in some way, shape, or form. So it's a really great thing to go to, especially as a freshman, because it really opened my eyes, being from out of state as well, to all the different things that I can do with my time spent outside. So it's a really awesome opportunity. And anymore, I've met so many people there that I don't necessarily go to those meetings every single week because I already have so many close friends who I go and do those things with on my weekends and stuff like that. So it's an awesome, awesome opportunity.
Thanks, Joe. This next question is from Sana. And Sana asks, will I be able to spend my free time doing something meaningful, like conducting research or teaching?
Yeah, hello. So you can spend however your extra time here at CSU however you'd like. If that is research, then you can definitely do it. It's really cool because we're focused on experiential learning here at CSU, which means that you're getting hands-on experience in the classroom, in your area of study. So in the class, you will be doing things that will pertain to your major, and you can actually put it on your resume so it looks good after you graduate, which is really cool. In one of my classes right now, we're doing research for a soda company, and that company is actually going to be looking at our research and maybe doing things with that further on. So it's kind of cool that the things you're studying and the things you're doing can have an actual effect on the larger community outside of CSU, off of campus. So you can really do whatever you'd like. Professors are involved in research as well. Some professors are just focusing on research while others are focused on teaching. So you can do kind of a little bit of everything. Just partner up with your professors with research. It's a really cool opportunity, and our professors are so nice and willing to have you on their teams as well. So that's kind of what I'd say about research.
Yeah, and if I could just add on to that real quick, Lizzie. What I was going to say is I had to take a class for my major, and it was a 200-level class. And like I said, my major is environmental health, so we were focusing on water quality. So we actually went to Spring Creek, which is just like, it's not too far south of campus. We walked there, and we took samples from Spring Creek, and then we actually analyzed them in the lab, which was super cool. Then we got some water from Horsetooth Reservoir, and we did that. So you're always going to have those hands-on experiences, just as Cody mentioned as well. And then what actually happened this year as a senior is in that lab, I got really close with the TA, and so she came up to me the first week of class and was like, hey, I'm looking for someone to come and do research in my lab. Would you be interested? So it's really cool, and I'm now getting class credit for working in her lab. So you never know what it might lead to, and we're definitely able to do a lot of those things here at CSU.
All right, thanks both of you for answering the question so well. This next question is from Sean, and Sean would like to know, what does the job market look like in Fort Collins and on campus? So this is like, what types of on-campus jobs do they offer? What does the job market in Fort Collins look like?
All right, I'll take that one. Sorry, I didn't know if Cody was going to take it or not. But with jobs, I needed one since the beginning, day one I was here on campus. I'm paying everything by myself, so I had to pay for school, housing, rent, food, whatever. So the best way I can say is to definitely look first at CSU before you look at Fort Collins. Not because there's no jobs in Fort Collins. There's jobs, tons of those for college students here within Fort Collins as well. But CSU gives the most amount of jobs than any other place here in Fort Collins. So it's a great start. The best part about it is that they work all the jobs with your hours and your schedule every single semester. So since the first semester, I had a job with the dining halls, moved to this job, and I have a second one with El Centro. And I'm still able to manage time to do classes, do homework, and all of these things. So every semester they'll ask for your class schedule, not the other way around. Since we know you're here for school and not for work, so again, it's a great opportunity for you to actually get some extra cash, but at the same time not stressed about not being able to finish classes or having a bad GPA, stuff like that. So definitely recommend looking at CSU first, but if that's not your interest, there's a tons of different options here on Fort Collins as well, which actually CSU will also help you find those jobs outside of CSU with the Career Center, for example, either through internships, jobs, or just part-time things. But yeah.
Thanks, Sebastian. So we actually have a question from Madison that just came in. And she would like to know, can anyone describe what the PreVet program is like? And before anybody answers this, just so that everyone is aware, we are one of the top 3 vet programs in the entire country here at the graduate level at CSU. So we do get a lot of students coming in that wanted to study a major with kind of more of a concentration in pre-vet would just know that it's not a major, it's more of a program that you enter into. So with that said, who would like to talk about our pre-vet program?
So with the PreVet program, your freshman year you'll have to take a lot of the general courses. So like biology. If you test in the math, you'll have to take the PACE Center test. But if you test in the math, you'll be able to take chemistry and some of the further along science classes. But as you go longer in your CSU career, it all depends on what school, what veterinary school you want to apply to. Every school has a different curriculum of what they want from their students. So, for example, Morehouse wants 3 years of chemistry. So I have to take 3 years of chemistry to get into vet school, and it varies from different schools all over the country. So if you do come to CSU, if it's the right place for you, you'll be able to talk with your advisor and the pre-vet advisor, and they'll be able to help you along. Say, this is a class that you need to take to get into this school, or if you need to catch up on any credits. So it's really meeting with your advisor. And right now the task isn't too hard, but I'm really looking forward to continuing my journey.
Thanks, Ian. Okay, so we're going to go on to another question in just a second, but we did get kind of a follow-up to the pre-vet question as you were answering it. So Christian wanted to know if the animal hospital that we use is just for graduate students, and the answer is yes. Most of our students that are at the graduate school that are actually studying there are graduate level students. However, we do have a lot of people that do choose to volunteer there for the experience, and if you're interested in internships within the community, that is definitely an opportunity for you. So the community is very supportive of our pre-vet students wanting to get some hands-on experience before they go. So keep that in mind. This next question is from Stephen, and Stephen would like to know, how does the weather differ from California? So how's the weather here, everybody?
Well, I actually lived in California for 2 years in San Diego, so the weather is definitely different here. We do have a lot more extreme, like cold, warm, but I love it. I actually kind of missed Colorado weather while I lived in California, but we do have the most sunny days in Colorado of any state, so that's something to look forward to. But we do have some snowstorms, some rain. It gets really fun. They definitely keep you on your toes here in Colorado, but I really like it a lot.
Thanks, Megan. This next question that we're going to answer is from Chase, and Chase wants to know, when was the moment that you knew Colorado State was home for you? I know it's a hard question.
Hey, Chase. So when I knew that I wanted to come to CSU, I mentioned it earlier, was on my campus tour. So I had the opportunity to come and visit CSU while looking at a bunch of different schools, and honestly, CSU wasn't on that top list. However, after my campus tour, there was no question whether or not I would come here, because I was just walking along, and the exact moment I knew was when we were on the plaza, which is kind of our center area of campus. It's a really high traffic area, and people were just walking to and from classes, but there was also a student elections going on, and there were these huge billboards and matching shirts, and I was in student council in high school, so I just thought it was the coolest thing. And the coolest thing about it was that people were actually paying attention. So random students were walking to class, they would stop and actually pay attention to these people running for president and vice president, and I just thought it was so neat that the community was so engaged and wanted to be so involved in voting for their president and vice president, and I was like, this is a cool place to be. And ever since, I know it's home because of the people I've met. They've made it really a family. We create a Ramley here. We're the Rams, so it's a really cool community to be a part of, and I know that I'm meant to be here.
Does anybody else want to answer this too? I know that people get really passionate about CSU being their home, so if someone else wants to answer this, I will go to town. No? Okay, well, we'll go on to the next one then. So, next things about being a CSU student are all the sporting events, obviously. So Emily would like to know, do a lot of students go to CSU sporting events?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so we just, well, I guess more what am I trying to say? Okay, I'm trying to talk about Ruckus. So it's our student spirit group on campus, and it's definitely become more prominent these past 2 years, I think, which is really, really cool because they do a lot of great things. They have this mobile app, and so when you go to sporting events, you can actually check into events, and like based on how many points you have, you can get like a free T-shirt. They even have, I think if you get up to like 50 points or something, you can get sideline passes to like be on the courts, be on the field at the football stadium. So it's really awesome. And like we just had the Rocky Mountain Showdown where we versed our in-state rivals in football, who is CU Boulder, and we sold out the student section, which was really, really cool. So it is a lot of fun. I do think that we have a ton of pride here on campus, and so sporting events are definitely one of my favorite things to attend.
And as Corey failed to mention, we did win the Rocky Mountain Showdown. That's important to note. Go Rams.
Thanks, Joe. Okay, this next question we're actually going to direct to Cody. And Rachel asks, what makes CSU different than CU Boulder?
All right, so many things differ the two universities. Both universities are really awesome. I'm a little biased to CSU. When I was on my campus tour quest, I actually never visited CU Boulder just because it wasn't really on my mind. However, I have visited there. I have friends there, and the main difference, I think, is just the community feel. I think we've all mentioned that today, and just saying how welcoming and warm our community is. Also, the location has a lot to do with it as well. I think that wherever you end up going, it's your experience. You make it what you want to make it, and the main difference is just kind of the people and the feeling that you get. And it's very hard to describe that feeling. So I just welcome you to come and visit if you can, if you have that opportunity, and just see for yourself. That's the best way to find a college, and if you come here, I'm going to warn you right now, you might fall in love with this university like we did. So just a warning.
Thanks so much, Cody. So we've been getting a lot of questions regarding our admission standards and the grades that we look at before we admit a student. And so I'll briefly go over what we look at in terms of our admissions profile and what that looks like. In terms of our averages for what we look at, our average ACT score is about a 24 composite. Our average SAT is about a 1030 without the writing. And average GPA of our incoming freshmen is around a 3.4. But the nice thing about CSU is we do something called a holistic admissions review process. So even if you don't necessarily meet these criteria, maybe you have an 18 on your ACT or you have a 2.9 or whatever, you still have a very good chance of getting into the university because of our admission standards, in the sense that we really get to know you as a person via your application. So we're reading your essay, we're reading your letters of recommendation, we're looking at your academic reflection about why explaining to us why you ended up getting that D in chemistry your first year or whatever happened, and we're looking at trends in grades. Did you start off kind of poorly your freshman year, but you got better by the time you were a junior, or things along those lines? So we're taking in a lot of different factors, because even though we want to make sure you'll succeed academically here, we also want to make sure we're bringing in students of really high character as well. That's very important to us. Cody mentioned the type of people that are on this campus, and I think that you will really be able to tell when you come and visit us just how awesome this student body is. So we really want to make sure that we're adding to that and not taking away from it. So we really like our holistic admissions review process. If you do have any other questions about the admissions process, feel free to contact your representatives for your area. If you go onto our website, there's a nice little thing called Meet Your Rep. You can go on there, find your counselor, and then after you find your counselor, you can email them right there on the website. It makes it really easy, and you can go and kind of get in touch with us that way. So do keep that in mind. The next question that we're going to get is actually from Madison, and she would like to know, what is campus housing like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So campus housing, when I came, I was very nervous about that. I'm an only child, so I was like, whoo, gotta have my space, know what I'm saying? But it was really great. It was really great. I lived in Aspen, and so there's 3 different styles of room that we have here. So the style that I lived in was super suite, so that's just you and a roommate in a restroom. And then there's suite style, and suite style is you and a roommate, and then you all share a restroom, and then 2 suite mates. so 4 people to 1 restroom, and then there's community style as well, and that's you and a roommate, and then you have a community restroom down the hallway. And so I don't necessarily think one is better than the other. It's really just up to you and what you prefer, but it's really, really cool because you get a sense of community, and you get to know people on your floor who are from all different places. Like the guy next to me, he was a junior Olympian for skiing, which was really cool. My roommate my first year is now the current ASCSU president, so the current student body president, which is really awesome, Sam Gwynn. So I mean, you never know who you're going to meet, and some of these people could become some of your best friends. So it's a really, really great experience where you get to meet all kinds of different people, and y'all have the same thing in common. You're all first years, you know, just living the dream at CSU.
Another cool piece I can add on too is we have a lot of different living learning communities here on campus. So whether they be houses based around your major, excuse me. For example, I lived in the all-engineering residence hall my first year, so myself and everyone else living there started out as an engineering major, which was great because when I had issues with my calculus homework, I had 400 people I could ask for help. We also have ones for honors, or we have programs for service-based learning, or Cody is actually a mentor for a hall of undeclared students. So a lot of different opportunities to get involved with different communities there too, so as you're applying, do look at those. It's an awesome, awesome opportunity as well.
And going off with Joe, actually, I was part of the Key Service community as well, which is kind of what Cody is doing as well, part of the Key communities. Definitely great experience as well because they're meant for you to actually, again, meet more people within the same interest. So again, definitely take advantage and look into that.
Betty, thank you all for your great answers for that. In terms of this next question, I think Cody would probably be good answering this. Did any of you choose Undecided as your major initially? How did you find out what major to pick? This is from Matt.
Hey Matt, so yeah, I came in undecided. I had no idea what I wanted to do. There were so many options when you come to college, and so I was just like, what do I do? One thing that really helped me, as we just mentioned, was the residential learning communities. And so I lived in a hall that was for undeclared students, first-year students, and we took a class together, which was kind of focusing on our strengths, our abilities, our values, and trying to match that up with a major. So I found that a really helpful class and community because we can talk to each other about what classes we're taking, what classes we're liking, and then kind of go from there. So we really were a support system for each other. However, you don't have to be a part of a residential learning community to find what major you'd like. Our advisors are really great at CSU. You meet with them as a first-year student, and you have the opportunity to meet with them throughout your college career. So we have specific undeclared advising, and so you have one that's dedicated to you just to help you figure out what you want to do. You have exploring majors, one-on-one time with your advisor, and they'll just help you. They'll say, where do you want to go? You may need to take some tests with the Career Center, so they can do some tests where you find out kind of what your interests and abilities are, and they'll try to match you up that way. So I ended up declaring business. At one point I had a theater minor, but then I dropped that just because I wanted to do some other things. So coming in undeclared or undecided is not a bad thing at all, especially if you are on the cusp or on the brink of deciding between 2 majors. Just come in undeclared and then go from there. Take classes in one, and if you don't like it, then take classes in the other, and just really find out what you want to be doing and what you're passionate about, because your major is your passion, and that's going to be the thing that gets you out of bed every day at 8 a.m. to take a class, or what keeps you up late at night doing homework. So find your passion at CSU and find your major that way.
Thanks, Cody. This next question is from Ashley, and she wants to know, is it easy to make friends at CSU? I know a lot of Colorado high school students go to CSU. Do they stick with all of their old friends?
I actually kind of have a funny story about high school Colorado friends. I've lived with a couple guys that went to the same high school and didn't know each other at all in high school, and now they've both been really close friends of mine. So it's funny how that worked out for them, but overall, in general, CSU, as we've all mentioned a couple different times, is a very warm, welcoming sort of community feel, and it's so easy to meet people here. I came from out of state. I did not know a single person here. My roommate, my freshman year in the residence halls, also was from out of state. Didn't know anybody. So he and I were kind of partners in crime as we were trying to make friends throughout our first year here, and it worked great for us. We're still really close. So yes, it's very easy to meet people here at CSU, and you have a lot of different opportunities to do that, and getting involved also is a big help in that as well.
And to build off that, Joe, when you come to CSU, find things that you love to do, and you'll find other people who love to do the same thing. and that's really where you build those like lifelong friendships. So as I was saying earlier, I love to go to the rec, so I actually met 3 guys who I saw at the rec every day, and we became best friends. And now we all now we live together. Now we're like a family, and we'll probably go to each other's weddings. So just find what you love to do, and you'll find people with the same interest, and you'll realize like how did I live my 18 years without this person in my life? Like they're like family. So it's really cool.
No, it's like your little Ramley, right?
Ramley, yes, Ramley. Exactly.
Okay, so this next question, I'm not sure if any of you all would know this. If none of you do, I'll take this. Julia wants to know, what kind of dance and choral groups are on campus?
That's a great question. I actually did, you said dance and choral groups, right? Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I did choir my freshman year here at CSU because I did it for 7 years. I did it all throughout middle school and then all throughout high school. So when I came, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I ever gonna, live without choir in my life? So they have a lot of great options. I actually found out about it at the fall student expo. So they have like this involvement expo that happens out on the plaza. And so there are, the group that I did was non-audition, and it was men and women, so it was just the university chorus. But I know that they have audition groups, both men separate, women separate, and then together. So that's totally up to you. And you can take those for class credit, which is really cool. And they like count towards your electives. And that was actually one of my favorite experiences here at CSU because I did it my fall semester. So we did Handel's Hallelujah Chorus for Christmas, and we performed it all together, all the choirs with like the symphony and the orchestra, and it was amazing. So also, I'm not too sure on dance groups, but I know that there are probably a ton that are open to students. What's really cool about the University Center of the Arts here at CSU is that you don't have to be like an art major or a music major or a voice major or anything like that to be involved in those groups. So I'm sure if you just like looked on their website or anything like that, you'd definitely be able to find out more options and what's available to do those kind of things here.
Great. Trip would like to know, what are some things to do on a lazy Saturday?
I don't know if any. Yeah, there's lots of things to do around here on a lazy Saturday. There's always a lot to do on campus. There are lots of events. Just an example, like right now we're in football season, so there's usually a football game on Saturday. They'll have tailgating, and a lot of organizations put on different barbecues for football games. You can go get some free food and enjoy the football teams. If that's not your thing, there's plenty to do around Fort Collins. A lot of people come out onto the intramural fields and play some beach volleyball, play soccer, play some frisbee. There's plenty to do on a lazy Saturday. There's movie theaters all around town and lots of places to go eat. There's lots of things to do on the weekend. You can go up to Horsetooth Reservoir I mentioned earlier. You can hike up there. There's boating, swimming, there's hiking everywhere, biking like Joe mentioned. There's lots to do.
Sorry, busy. No, just one thing I like to say always, I always tell my tours, is that if you're bored at Fort Collins or in CSU, it's because you're not looking to do something. If you just want to lay down, do nothing, perfect. But there's always something out there. And whether it is your friends that told you about it or CSU, you can find so many things all the way, again, like Megan was mentioning, all the way to going up to Horsetooth Reservoir, going to the intramural fields. There will be concerts, food places. I mean, so many different things to go and do. We don't even have to pay a penny for it either. So we do offer a lot of different opportunities for all of you to do something, whether inside or outdoors.
Thanks so much. Okay, this next question is from Madison, and she wants to know, what are the class environments and professors like? Whoever wants to answer can go ahead and jump on in when you're ready.
So I can go ahead and talk about that a little bit. Well, here on campus, our average classes are usually about 40 students or fewer. Actually, 72% are that way. So most of my class experience has been that smaller class. And now as a senior, my largest class is about 35 people, and that even feels kind of big. So the good thing about CSU is we do have that smaller class. When you're a first-year student, maybe a second year a little bit, you may have some larger classes, but those really aren't too intimidating. And if you do sit towards the front, it seems just like that smaller class again that I've had so much experience with. But professors themselves are great here at CSU. I have yet to have a professor who is not willing to help me. They all have office hours, time that they have set up to sit in their office and wait for students to show up and ask questions. So take advantage of that time. All my professors have been great, though. You can usually ask questions very easily in class. Some of them I've even had multiple times for different classes, so with them I even have a pretty good relationship. So maybe I can even give them a hard time in class if they spell something wrong on the board. So it's really nice to sort of have that relationship with professors and be very willing to give help. And students themselves, again, as we've mentioned so many different ways, community here on CSU. So many of my friends that I do homework and study with, I've been working with them for 3.5 years now, so we know exactly how we work together, we know exactly where, so we hardly even have to text or call each other anymore in order to work together. So you have that community amongst students as well, too.
All right, thank you. This next question we're going to ask from Megan, and she would like to know, what was the biggest adjustment between high school and college with the amount of schoolwork?
So the biggest thing that I had to use or work with as far as coming from high school to college was the amount of studying and amount of time you personally have to put in. In high school, for me, I was mostly in school for about 7 hours of the day and then studying between 2 or 3 hours. Here at CSU and in college, it's kind of flip-flop. So I go to class for about 2 to 3 hours a day, and then I study for 7 hours. So it's a lot different, and it's more on you and to take the initiative to learn your material. The professor gives you everything you need to be successful. They lecture well. They give you the handouts online. Most professors do, so you can download all of their materials from online, and then you can take the initiative to build flashcards and do study groups and all that kind of stuff. So it was a big difference going from everything in class and then not too much out of class, and now it's the complete opposite for me.
Okay, thanks, Cody. This next question is from Nicole, and she wants to know, what resources does CSU have for students who have anxiety and also have an IEP? Two different things. I'll go ahead and answer this one. Anxiety, absolutely, we provide resources for students, especially because we know that your first semester of college and even the whole entirety of college can be extremely stressful. So our health network is really supportive of students to make sure that you can go in and get the help that you need and make sure that you can go and feel like someone can listen to you and help with that. So lots of different things along those lines. In terms of for your IEP, we also have a great center of resources for disabled students. I would encourage you to get in touch with them if you do have any concerns about what types of opportunities they have for you here. There are a lot of things that we offer that can help you make that transition a little bit smoother, a little bit easier for you. So I encourage you to reach out to that, and we'll also try and follow up to make sure that we can get that information to you. This next question is from Stephanie, and Stephanie would like to know, does the university have international business or study abroad opportunities?
So yes, we do. Actually, this past semester, I went abroad to Rome, Italy, and again, I'm a business student, so it was the most amazing experience I've ever had, besides just being on CSU's campus. I went, and for my major, I needed a certain amount of non-elective credits, so that meant that I can take pretty much whatever I wanted over there. So I took things like mythology and photography, so it wasn't very hard material for me personally. However, a lot of people will do experiences abroad with internships or volunteer opportunities. Like Corey may mention some things about her time in Kenya. But for me personally, it was one of the greatest experiences, and I may not have learned a lot of business-oriented material while I was there. However, I learned a lot about street smarts and how to depend on myself. So that was very cool for me. And I did get to witness a lot of international business while I was over there. I saw the transactions and the differences between the U.S. and the culture over there. So it was a really neat opportunity. I was able to visit 9 different countries, and it's very simple to get that process started. Just go to the Education Abroad office and tell them where you want to go, and they'll try to help you and make that happen. So. And
just to add on to that a little bit, I'm also a business student. I'm planning on studying abroad this summer, so I'm actually going through the planning process right now. I went to the Education Abroad office yesterday, so I'm trying to decide on a business program that's right for me. There's so many good ones, but right now there's like one in Germany that's doing business in Europe is what it's called, and I'm also seriously considering going to Prague, but they offer so many awesome courses. I'm going to do my marketing concentration, so I'm going to take 6 credits this summer somewhere, getting some of my marketing concentration out of the way, and that'll be a really good way to earn credit and also get to go somewhere.
All right, thanks so much, everybody, for chiming in. This next question is from Tom, and it's more of an admissions-related question, so I'll take this one. But Tom asks, since CSU has rolling acceptance, how soon are decisions made? And Tom, the answer varies. You know, we guarantee you a decision in about 6 weeks after you've applied, and that varies based on when you apply to the university. If you apply by December 1st, we guarantee you one by January 15th. If you apply by February 1st, we guarantee you one by March 15th. However, we are starting to read applications here, hopefully within the next week or so, and we don't have too many in the queue yet. So if you're applying as early as next week or even the beginning of October, we're hoping to start getting those decisions out to you by the end of October. So you should hear from us pretty quickly. But again, if you're not hearing from us, you're always welcome to contact your representative and just ask if we have everything, make sure we've got everything in, so please keep us updated and keep going in. This next question is from Shelly. And Shelly asks, what's been your favorite involvement opportunity at CSU?
Yeah, I can speak on this. So my favorite involvement opportunity here at CSU has been alternative breaks. And so Cody talked a little bit about traveling or studying abroad and all that good stuff. And so since for someone who wasn't able to study abroad, alternative breaks was a really good outlet for me because I was able to go abroad for like 2 weeks. And so the first trip I ever did was to Kenya, Africa, and it was an incredible experience. Just being able to like be outside of your culture and learning different things. But what I loved most about it and still love most about alternative breaks is getting to know the people that you're on that trip with. So these are people that I have I hadn't ever interacted with here on campus, which is really, really cool. So they were outside my major, you know what I'm saying? There were seniors in there, there were juniors in there, and I went as a sophomore. So it was so great to be a part of that group, really get to know these people, learning outside of our culture, learning about each other at the same time, and it was one of the most impactful things that I've ever been a part of, and I got to represent CSU on an international scale. So I mean, that was pretty sweet too. I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything.
Are we good? Okay, we'll keep moving on. We'll press on. We've got about 15 more minutes about. This is a question from Chris, and Chris would like to know, what was your experience like at orientation?
All right, I want to take this one. I had 2 orientations in a way, and then I think Corey was also orientation leader, so she probably has more intel about it. But in my experience, I loved it. I had normal orientation that everybody goes through. Just 2 days here at CSU, and it's a great experience because you really get to know a little bit more not only who you're going to be with, but also what CSU is all about and what college life is about as well. I had no idea what it was about, so it's a good way for me to really know where my classes were going to be at. Again, meet other people that are going to be there at the same year as you. Get to know where you're going to be living at since you spend one of the nights at the residence hall. So it's a great experience for you to actually see what college life is going to be, kind of a preview for it. But another thing that I did, part of orientation, is called now they changed the name. It's Preview Mountain Experience, but now it changes to, I think, first year Mountain Experience, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Corey is saying yes. So again, it was a great experience for me because we go up to Pingree Park, which is a cabin up in the mountains, just about an hour away from here. The CSU actually has. So it's a great opportunity for me to actually go with 30 other students, spend 2 nights. So we spend 1 night on campus in another residence hall, and 2 nights up in the mountains, doing rope courses, doing a huge hike, just doing a lot of different activities and just bonding activities. And actually, because of that experience, I actually met my 3 roommates and my girlfriend all from the same experience. And this is right before I even started college. Technically, I mean, the first day of classes. So it's a great experience. I think that was probably one of my favorite experiences since I've been here. It just pretty much did everything from there. So I don't know. That's my experience with it.
Awesome.
And one other thing, Lizzie, I want to mention, because we were talking about involvements just a minute ago, and one of the best things that I've gotten involved with is actually the orientation experience, because upperclassmen students are actually the students who are in charge of orienting the new incoming first-year class. So it's a really great opportunity to become a RAM Welcome leader or an orientation leader or a RAM Welcome event assistant, and you are kind of there to facilitate that easy transition from high school to now being a part of the CSU community. So that's just one other way to get involved on campus pertaining to that RAM Welcome experience.
Awesome. Thanks you all for answering that. Are any of you in the honors program?
I am.
Okay, great. So this next question is from Patrick, and Patrick would like to know, what are the benefits of being in the honors college? How does it affect academics and campus life?
So one of the cool things about the Honors College is they do have their own living learning community. So if your first year you'd like to live with honors students, that's an opportunity you have. Another big plus is that you actually get to register for classes early. So if you're in a very popular major, for example, I'm in mechanical engineering, which is actually one of our largest on campus. Sometimes if you want to take a math class, for example, they'll have times at like maybe 8 a.m. and 2 in the afternoon. So if you're like me, you'll sign up for the 8 a.m., but most people will take advantage of that early class and take the afternoon one so they can sleep in. So signing up for classes early is awesome. But one of the biggest things, too, is you get to take sort of honors seminars along the way that are different topics that will kind of cover some of your all-university core classes. So they'll cover things like public speaking, maybe your basic history class, your basic writing course. So it's nice to get to be able to cover them in that way. And also they're very interesting topics. I've taken everything from natural resources law and policies to America in the 1960s. So there are different kind of topics, if you will, that are really neat. And also you get your own honors advisor. So you have a second advisor in addition to your academic advisor for your major, who you can ask questions of, run things by, and just basically a second resource for students to utilize. So a lot of different benefits there in the honors program. And now that I'm a senior, actually part of my capstone will be presenting my senior thesis to a group of honors professors and other professors. So it's a really neat opportunity to sort of get that real world practice and experience before you actually graduate and leave school as well. So a lot of great benefits from the honors program.
So Joe did cover a lot of really good benefits. I just wanted to add a little bit more. I'm actually an honors program peer mentor. So that means that I teach one of the honors classes with a partner for first year students. And we teach about all the resources that are offered, and that's one really cool thing that you get to do in the honors program. You have a mentor, it's a small class, and they walk you through a lot of the steps of transitioning into college, which is really cool. And there's just so many resources that you get through that course as well. You get to meet with professors one-on-one. We help you write a resume, we help you write a 4-year plan, and just a lot of different things that can help you transition better into CSU.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to start wrapping things up here in a couple minutes, but we have time for a few more questions. Justin asks, what is the process for applying to scholarships at CSU? And I'll take this one. Justin, there are a lot of different ways to apply for scholarships, but a couple of the easiest ones are actually through our office. If you're an out-of-state student, we have 3 awards that we refer to as the Triple Crown that you do not have to submit a separate application for. You're automatically considered for it when you apply. They're the Dean's, Provost, and Presidential Awards. It's tiered based on your GPA and test score. So definitely be sure to think about that when you're applying. You do not have to fill out anything else. If you're from in-state, the nice thing about being in-state is actually we have a similar award. It's called the Green and Gold Award. It's tiered $1,000 to $4,000 based on your GPA and test score. Again, that is also another award that you do not have to submit a separate application in order to be considered for. Additionally, if none of those scholarships necessarily work out, we also have something called the CSUSA. It stands for the Colorado State University Scholarship Application. That's available on December 1st. It's due on March 1st. It's pretty much your one-stop shop departmental-based scholarship application for the entire university. So if you're looking for a little bit more money, that might be a good thing to fill out as well. If you're looking for more specifics about financial aid, scholarships, all of that stuff, definitely check out the Student Financial Services website. It's sfs.colostate.edu. They have amazing resources on their website about residency, about the FAFSA, about general financial aid, scholarships. So definitely use that as a resource when you can. This next question is from Danielle, and she asks, how is going to school in a different state different than home?
So I think one of the big differences is just little tiny pieces of the culture that you don't really think about until you live in a different place for a while. Like, for example, it's very hard for me to ride my bike at home because there are no bike lanes and sidewalks are small or they don't exist. Another big big difference is that you are like a little bit away from home, so you kind of have the chance to sort of make your own family. I've lived with a lot of the same guys for my 4 years here at CSU, and that's been great for me because it literally is sort of a family or a community that I've created for myself. So it's been, for me, it's been a lot of fun. And also growing up in the Midwest, I was coming out to the mountains several times a year to go skiing or backpacking, and now that they're 2 miles away from my house, it's a lot nicer for me. So that's just a little piece of my own story. Maybe someone else might have something to share as well too.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and keep moving with some other stuff here. We're going to be wrapping up in about 6 minutes. Izzy would like to know, was it difficult for any of you transitioning from high school to college?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit about that. So, as I mentioned earlier, only child, first-generation student, and so coming up here, I was very, very intimidated, and it was really hard transitioning for me, to be honest with you. I'm from Colorado, but I'm from southern Colorado, so my home is about 3 hours away. And that first week, it was a really hard transition, and I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I don't know if I want to stay here. Like, I don't know if this is my thing. Like, maybe I should peace out. And she was like, no, you're gonna have to stay at least until winter break, and then once winter break comes around, we'll kind of reevaluate the situation and see where you are. And so I waited until winter break, and then winter break came around, and I was like, she's like, how are you feeling? And I was like, well, I definitely want to go and finish out my year. And so I did, and that when I came back that semester, that's when I started getting involved. So I applied to be an admissions ambassador. I applied to go on the trip, an alternative spring break. And so once I started getting involved and I like knew that I had a purpose here, that I had friends here, that I had a community, that's when it really started seeming like more real to me, and it's the best decision I ever made to stay here at CSU. Seriously, the best decision ever.
All right, thanks so much, Corey. Ganima would like to know about safety at CSU. Can anybody speak to safety really briefly before we wrap up?
Oh, we'll talk about that one. I came from a huge city, so safety was kind of an issue over there. Going out at night, you have to be kind of safe. You have to know where to go, when to go, and stuff like that. But coming over here to CSU, honestly, I've never felt so safe in my life. I mean, it could be 5 p.m. or 3 in the morning, doesn't matter when. I'm literally just walking around the city, and I do not feel unsafe at all at any point. Not only because there's just really nothing to be worried about, but we also have a great security system within CSU and for Collins. We actually have an on-campus police called CSU PD, which actually just works specifically with the campus and with the students. So it's a great resource to go to if you just feel unsafe, if there's something going on. We actually have emergency box systems all across the campus and even within the city. So if there's anything going on, you just press that, and there'll be someone within 2 minutes of where you're at, just there to help you out. So again, great way to just go around. Honestly, I've never felt so safe. Just really easy to go by anywhere at any time.
And we also have something called our Safe Walk program. So if you do have a later class that gets out in the darker time of the evening or the night, our Safe Walk, you can actually call Safe Walk, and they'll send someone to walk with you from your class to wherever you might live, just so that you can have someone there with you at night. Even though it's we have a really safe campus, and I really love sometimes just going out on midnight bike rides and just enjoying how cool it is and how nice it is outside.
All right, so we do have a very safe campus. I think that most people would say that they've never, ever felt unsafe here at all. We're going to wrap it up here with the last question, but before we do that, we actually got a tweet from our admissions director while we were talking, and our director, Melissa Tripoletti, says, please tell the ambassadors I said hi. So she says, hello, ambassadors. And then she also says, tell everyone who is watching the Hangout that I said hi, and I hope to see them visit campus soon. So our director's thinking about everything. So this last question that we're going to ask is from Max, and everybody can answer this question. Max asks, what made you choose CSU? And why don't we start with Corey this time, and we'll go the other way.
Okay, great. So what made me choose CSU is, as I mentioned earlier, I never really considered it as an option. My family was like, just go check it out, see what it's all about. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I came on the campus tour, and at the end of it, I just felt like such a sense of peace. And I was like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to belong. And I just loved it so much because I felt like I could really be a part of community here, and I could really see myself doing something with all the resources they had mentioned, with everything like that. And I was like, you know what, I can be a RAM, and I can be a part of something bigger than myself. And so that's what made me choose it, is I just felt so welcome.
And I spoke a little bit on it earlier, I chose CSU because of the PreVet program and the vet program, as well as I'm from Denver, so it's far enough away from home that I can find myself and find my individuality, but it's close enough as home, so if I want to go home and get a nice warm home-cooked meal, then that's very possible. but I stayed at CSU because of the guys I met doing what I love to do around campus. So I really found it. I didn't have a really spark, but I really found just being here and being around people who love the same things that I do. Like this is my home. This is where I feel most comfortable about. And now whenever I go to actual home, to Denver, I'm like, I wish I was home with my friends. So it's all about like finding your niche in such a big but small university in a sense.
So I ended up choosing CSU. When I was applying for colleges, I applied to 5 different colleges in Colorado, and I went and toured them all and was seriously considering each one. Kind of like what Corey said, I had a big aha moment when I stepped onto CSU's campus. I could just picture myself here. It was beautiful. You got to see it. If you haven't seen CSU yet, you got to come see it. But also the academics here really drew me. As I mentioned, I'm part of the honors program, and it's a very strong program here at CSU. And there's also, because it's a big university, there's a lot of different opportunities that you can find here on campus, whether it's clubs or whether it's academics or finding a job after college. The Career Center is so willing to help. A lot of the other colleges I was considering were much smaller and didn't have as many services to offer, and CSU has definitely followed through with that.
And then I found my stay here at CSU through the resources that were available. So we have tutoring resources, and we have the residential learning community. So that really helped make my decision, because there was a group of people that had the similar interests or the same unknowing of what to declare or what to major in. So that really helped to build that community straight off the bat. And I've just found my passion here, and since being here throughout the 3 years I've been here has been challenging, and the community has challenged me to do my best and go out and do new things. So that's kind of why I've stayed, is because I have grown as a person here, and it's been the best experience of my life. Love it.
So for my experience, kind of like Eland, I mean, I have my home, not kind of far away, but not that far away. It's only an 11-hour flight to Argentina. I'm just kidding. Actually, my mom lives right now in Denver, so only an hour away. But my reason for it was my mom did her MBA program here at CSU, and I knew I did not want to do school or college life in Argentina. It's just way different. I want to experience something different. So I came here, visited, was the first school I actually visited, and actually the only one. I came here, stepped on it, and I loved it. I knew I was in the right place. I knew I did not have to look anywhere else, just because, honestly, I knew this was the right place. I had the outdoors. It's a big city, yet not that big. You have everything you need. I feel super comfortable, and I had a lot of chances to look somewhere else, not just within CSU or Colorado in general, but also look in California. I have family down there, and so this is definitely my right fit, and I do not regret my decision whatsoever since the beginning. I know I'm going to love it for the rest of my life, so great experience for me.
Awesome. So I found my place here at CSU for a number of different reasons. Initially, I came and visited here because of the location. Like I said, I'm from Kansas City, so I wanted to go to some place that looked a little different. And then when I came here, I found out how strong a program they have for my major in engineering. I happened to show up too on engineering days, so all the seniors were out showing off their projects. They had a race car swirling around campus, so that was kind of cool to come and see as well too. But since I've made that decision, I couldn't be happier. Like I've mentioned a couple different times, community and so many different aspects of campus, and I'm a big outdoors person, so having the mountains as close as they are has been an absolute blast for me, and I just couldn't have been happier with my college choice. I went and visited about 10 different places, so I'm very, very happy with where I ended up here at CSU, and I truly have found my state.
All right, thank you all for your answers tonight, ambassadors. That was awesome. I'm an alumni of the university, and I'll tell you, I picked CSU 100% because of the warm and welcoming environment that I found on campus. Everybody has talked about that, but I will just drive it home. I did not want to come to school in Colorado. I was one of those weird people that wanted to not go to Colorado for school, and my dad tricked me out here to look at schools because he lived in Colorado Springs and was like, oh, we'll go hiking and camping, and then instead took me on like 16 college tours, and I came in towards CSU and just fell in love with it. And my dad, he still gives me a little bit of crap every now and then. He's like, remember when everybody didn't think I was going to be liking CSU, and now you work for the university? So it's really nice being able to kind of look back and see how awesome of an experience I had, and clearly I like my alma mater because I work for them now and get to talk about it all the time. To wrap up, we will do our absolute best to follow up with everybody that did submit a question with us, regardless of how you submitted it. If for some reason we cannot get to your question, we got a ton of submissions tonight, definitely ask your counselor and reach out to them. There is a tab right on the top of our page, Find Your Counselor, on our website. Check that out. There's tabs by freshmen, transfer, international students. You can click on that, find out a little bit more about who you're going to be interacting with. Definitely think about visiting campus for Explore CSU on October 10th. That's going to be a great opportunity. In addition, our application is live now for people to fill out. So if you're really thinking after this that CSU might be a good fit for you, fill out the application. It's an awesome opportunity for you. Again, I'll just reiterate one more time, get in touch with your counselor if you do have any questions. We are very personable and we want to make sure that we reach out to students. But besides that, thank you all so much for joining us and watching tonight. Have a great rest of your evening and go Rams!